There are places on this planet that make you doubt your own eyes. Places so clean, so impossibly designed by nature that you start thinking, okay, this cannot be real. Someone rendered this. For years, whenever we talked about paradise, we all said the same word: Maldives. Turquoise lagoons, villas over the water, breakfast trays in the pool, still waters, still minds. The Maldives became the definition of escapism, the screensaver everyone wanted to step into. But what if I told you that right now, quietly, on a stretch of coast that for decades was practically unknown to global tourism, a completely new version of paradise is being built? Not a copy, not a cheaper alternative, but a next level. A place that mixes science, sustainability, futuristic architecture, desert myths, Red Sea corals, and Arabian hospitality. A place that looks like Earth but feels like the future. Welcome to Saudi Arabia's Red Sea. I am your host from Traveling Heavens, and today we are going to the Red Sea project, probably the most ambitious luxury tourism development on Earth right now, and yes, I am saying it, a destination that can actually challenge the Maldives for the crown. Not in 5 years, not in 10, but starting now. This destination is not just one hotel somewhere in the middle of nowhere. It stretches across more than 90 islands, most of them untouched, many of them protected, and all of them surrounded by coral reefs that scientists say are some of the most resilient on the planet. Imagine an archipelago where every island could be a resort, every lagoon could be a private bay, and every sunset looks like a cinematic color grade. That is the scale we are talking about. But scale without intention is just construction. What makes the Red Sea different is the philosophy behind it. The entire project has been designed as a sanctuary, not a party hub, not a crowded all-inclusive strip, but a place for travelers who want pristine beauty, low density, space to breathe, and at the same time, zero guilt about the environmental footprint of their stay. The master plan includes strict conservation zones, caps on visitor numbers, and energy systems that run on renewables. In other words, they are not just building luxury, they are building luxury that can last. Now, let's talk resorts, because I know that is what you came for. First, Shebara. Think of it as the Red Sea's manifesto. It is the clearest example of what the destination wants to be. Futuristic, low impact, visually insane. The entire resort is made of reflective, pod-like villas that sit over water so clear it looks shallow even when it is not. Each pod is spaced out so you never feel other guests on top of you, which is rare in island destinations. The design is not random. The architects wanted the buildings to disappear into the landscape, so during the day the pods mirror the sky and sea, and at sunset they pick up the pink and gold tones of the horizon. Inside, everything is oriented to the view. Floor-to-ceiling windows, private decks, outdoor showers. Even the bed is placed to look straight out to the water. The big story at Shebara, though, is energy. The resort runs off a dedicated solar field, fully off-grid, which means you can enjoy air conditioning, gourmet kitchens, night lighting on the pier, all the good stuff, without diesel generators ruining the silence. Activities here are water-centric. You can drop straight from your deck into coral gardens that have never been trampled by mass tourism. You can take guided snorkeling trips to see rare fish species of the Red Sea. Or you can just kayak at sunrise when the water is flat and the only sound is your paddle. At night, the resort becomes almost otherworldly. With no city lights around, the sky turns into a planetarium. Stargazing here is not a gimmick, it is a real experience. Then comes Nujuma, the Ritz-Carlton Reserve, which is the total opposite in energy, but on the same level in quality. If Shebara is futuristic, Nujuma is soulful. It is built for travelers who want luxury that feels personal, rooted, and calm. The villas are larger, spaced even more generously, and the interiors are full of handcrafted touches that reference Bedouin aesthetics, woven textures, natural woods, curved lines, and soft lighting. You can tell the designers wanted to honor the region, not just drop a generic luxury box on an island. Every villa has panoramic sea views, private pool, and outdoor living space, so you can have breakfast outside, nap outside, even get spa treatments in your own space. The service is what you expect from a reserve property, invisible but attentive. You want a private dinner under the stars with Saudi dishes reimagined in a fine dining way? They do it. You want a marine biologist to take your kids to learn about coral? They arrange it. You want a silent yoga session at dawn facing the sea? They set it up. One of the highlights at Nujuma is night experiences. Because the water in the area sometimes shows bioluminescence, you can stand on your deck and watch the sea sparkle as fish or waves disturb it. It is the kind of moment that makes you forget notifications exist. The St. Regis Red Sea Resort sits somewhere in between those two. It is classic luxury placed in an exotic, still-forming destination. If you know St. Regis, you know what you're getting. Signature butler service, refined dining, attention to ritual, and a very strong sense of place. Here, that is layered on top of a setting of lagoons, coral reefs, and calm beaches. It is ideal for couples, for honeymooners who want to combine activity and pampering, and for families who want facilities. You get all the water toys, paddleboards, sailing, diving, but you also get high-end restaurants, proper spa, and spaces to dress up in the evening. The big advantage of St. Regis here is that it takes the untamed beauty of the Red Sea and makes it practical. You can have a morning out on a boat, see dolphins or turtles, come back, hand over wet clothes to your butler, and be at lunch within minutes. No fuss, no logistical stress. It is also the resort that will probably appeal most to travellers who are used to the Maldives or Seychelles and want that same standard of service in a new area. And then there is Desert Rock, the wild card, and probably the most Instagrammed once it is fully open. Desert Rock is built straight into the mountains and cliffs that rise behind the coast. The idea is genius. Instead of building on top of the desert and disturbing silhouettes, they embedded the resort inside the rock. So from a distance, the architecture almost disappears. The rooms and suites are carved or set within natural cavities, the pathways follow existing lines, and the materials are local: stone, sand tones, earthy textures. You wake up, open your window, and you are looking at a desert valley that looks prehistoric. During the day, the sun warms the rock, creating those deep orange hues that photographers love. And at night, the temperature drops, the air turns crisp, and the sky becomes a full dome of stars. This resort is for people who want silence and drama. You can hike directly from your room to viewpoints. You can take geology or heritage tours to understand how old the formations are. You can do spa treatments in rooms that are literally inside stone. It is a total contrast to the water-based resorts, which is exactly the point. The Red Sea destination wants you to be able to do both island and desert with the same level of comfort. So, is the Red Sea only about expensive resorts and honeymoon vibes? Not at all. The real power of this destination is in the variety of experiences. Every day you can do something completely different. Let's start with the water. The Red Sea is one of the saltiest, warmest, and clearest seas in the world. Its coral reefs are some of the oldest, and here is a cool fact. Scientists consider Red Sea corals more resilient to rising temperatures than many Pacific reefs. Which means you, as a traveller, can snorkel or dive in reefs that are full of life, colour, and movement. You see clownfish, parrotfish, eagle rays, sometimes even dolphins, and the visibility is wild. It truly feels like floating through air. If you do not want to go deep, snorkeling from the shore is enough. Many of the islands have coral patches just a few metres out, so you put on a mask, swim out 20 seconds, and you are in a documentary. If you'd prefer to stay above the surface, you can kayak through mangroves. Mangroves are very important. They act as nurseries for fish and also as natural coastal protection. Paddling through them is calm, silent, very photogenic. Then we go inland. The desert around the Red Sea has canyons, wadis, and rock formations that surprise people who think Saudi is just flat sand. You can book guided hikes to viewpoints where you can see the sea on one side and endless desert on the other. You can do dune buggies across golden valleys, or if you want something more cultural, you can ride camels at dusk, just like travellers did for centuries across this region. At night, there are stargazing tours. Because this area has very low light pollution, the night sky is ridiculous. You can see constellations, the Milky Way, And with a guide, you can even learn how ancient navigators used the stars over the Red Sea to travel. One of the most underrated parts of the Red Sea experience is the local culture. This is still Saudi Arabia. There are small coastal communities that have been fishing these waters for generations. Visiting them, sharing a meal, tasting fresh catch, hearing stories about pearl diving or old trade routes adds depth to your trip. You stop being just a guest in a luxury bubble and become a traveller in a living region. Hospitality here is warm and proud. You feel it. Now let's talk logistics, because if you're watching this, you are probably already thinking, okay, how do I get there? The Red Sea destination sits on the west coast of Saudi Arabia, around 500 kilometers north of Jeddah. For most international visitors, the journey will be like this. You fly into Jeddah or Riyadh, both well connected to Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. From there, you take a domestic flight to the brand new Red Sea International Airport, which, by the way, looks like an art piece. This airport was built specifically to serve the project, with sustainability in mind and with fast transfers to the islands. Once you land, you are not thrown into chaos. You are welcomed, your luggage is handled, and you are put on a luxury speedboat, or in some cases a seaplane, that takes you straight to your island resort. Door to deck, very fast, very cinematic. Saudi has also made the entry part easier. The eVisa system now covers citizens from more than 60 countries. You apply online, you get it fast, and you are good to go. That means this destination is not just for a few. It is opening to mainstream premium travelers. Now, I know the question that is sitting in the back of your mind. Is this really going to compete with the Maldives? Let us answer it directly. The Maldives has the iconography, the reputation, the romance. But it also has challenges like sea level rise, limited space for expansion, and a more uniform landscape. The Red Sea has something the Maldives does not have: contrast. Where else can you be in an Overwater villa in the morning and then be in a desert-carved suite in the evening without leaving the same destination? Where else can you frame coral, sand dunes, volcanic-looking mountains, and Bedouin-inspired architecture in one reel? Where else do you get ultra-clear water that is not in the middle of the Indian Ocean, but just a short flight from Europe and the Gulf? That combination of accessibility, diversity of landscapes, and sustainability is what makes the Red Sea a real challenger. So what can you do there in one trip? You can arrive on a Friday, check in at Shebara, spend 2 days on the water, snorkeling, stargazing, eating seafood. Then transfer to Desert Rock for 2 nights of desert silence, spa, hiking, sunset photos. Then finish at Nujuma or St. Regis for the full, pampered, spa, fine dining, yacht excursion experience. 3 worlds in one destination with minimum travel time in between. That is what makes it so bingeable as a travel idea. When you finally sit on your deck on the last evening, the sun going down behind the dunes, the water in front of you going from turquoise to ink blue, the air warm but not heavy, you will understand the real point of the Red Sea. It is not trying to copy anyone. It is trying to prove that the Middle East can also do barefoot luxury, can also do regenerative tourism, can also protect reefs instead of destroying them, and can do all of that with taste. This is Traveling Heavens. And today, we have just walked through a destination that is rewriting the rules of tropical escapes. The Maldives will always be the classic. But the Red Sea is the sequel with a bigger budget, a better storyline, and way more locations. And if you are dreaming of waking up in a villa that reflects the sea and runs on sun, then hit subscribe, because this is only the beginning. The Red Sea is not a fantasy. It is evolution, on water and in the desert, and it is happening right now.